Help me. Who is it? He's outside the door right now, please.
Are you in this house?
He knows I'm in here.
Hang up. Hang up the phone. Get the fuck out of my house!
Penny Dreadful. Love Penny Dreadful. I've heard the stories. I mean, I can't play dumb. I've heard the stories.
Like they're floating out there.
No, but I mean, I've heard like how it was like this intensely, incredibly difficult shoot, and you shot like...
I know. Apparently, I bitched on the commentary way too much. I was still fuming mad because I had a really bad DP who was... we realized probably the second day we were going to have to replace him because he was too slow and very arrogant. 9 months later, we got 3 days of a new DP who was great, who unfortunately had to match all the other guys' stuff. So, well, there was a lot of downtime in between those, so I spent my time trying to. I knew that we were going to miss. We were missing fall, so you probably read it somewhere that I was gluing leaves onto thousands of leaves so we could put them into shots. But I needed something to do, right?
Right. So, exactly. What else is there to do?
Yeah.
One of your idols is in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how'd you get Betsy?
I called her.
Is that how it happens?
Yeah, I called her. And we went up there and she invited me for tea and pot, which I said no to. No, she's a big stoner. She doesn't care if you know.
She'll invite you over.
She was telling me that for her potluck for the school, she made pot brownies for her daughter's class. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Now,
she fucked James Dean. Can I swear on this? Yeah. Are you going to have to beep it up? She had sex with James Dean. They had a relationship, so she tells. And then he found her diaphragm, and then flipped out. And I ended up saying something like, well, Betsy, what about all these rumors about him being gay? She's like, honey, they all were. They all were. That's what she said. I mean, I love Betsy, and I've even told this story to her face, but we're doing this kind of complicated shot in a very long lens, and focus was going to be critical, and we're doing a dolly shot that has her face in the foreground and the girl in the background. We have to rack focus. And where was I going with this? So it took us a couple of times to rehearse it, and then I said, okay, all right, good, let's shoot it. And she says, what? We're not done? And I said, no, now we're going to shoot it. And then she says, when I did Mr. Roberts with John Ford, we'd spend 2 weeks on a shot. Which just doesn't...
It totally just imploded on what she said.
No. But the funniest story I have, the scene I think you're talking about where she's supposed to come and investigate the house, and she comes into this room, and it's not this way in the script. She's supposed to come into this room and think and say, you know, sorry, this house isn't haunted. Because at the end of the movie, you find out the house isn't haunted. Well, Betsy comes in and she says, this is what I'm going to do. She's gonna come in, and she's gonna do this big spasm. And she like showed it to me and she almost fell over. And I said, well, why are you gonna do the big spasm? She says, because I'm scared. I said, scared of what? Of the ghosts. And I said, but Betsy, there's no ghosts. She's like, that's not in my script. And we were going like this, my AD in the background, just let her do it, just let her do it. And it's like everyone's fucking favorite part is when she, you know, and it makes no sense. It drives me nuts.
This house is not haunted.
So here's my story, and I tell it all the time to the students as an icebreaker, because I show a clip from the Birds, and of course nobody knows who she is. And, you know, she's mother of Melanie Griffith. And I said, let me tell you my Tippi Hedren story. Okay, so a few years ago, she's at Chiller, and I truck my Birds poster down there, and I wait in line, and she's sitting down, and she's obviously in a bad mood. So I slide my poster over to her, and name, and I was like, Bryan, and you have to cut to this poster later on, but she started to write in a black Sharpie on a black area where there is this huge white space of yellow and green, yellow and white over there. And I said, could you sign it over here? And she went, no. And she almost wrote over my Morgan Brittany signature, which really... Okay.
Oh, not Morgan Brittany.
Morgan Brittany from the Birds. I got her on there. Look at that. So anyway, she slides it back to me, and the guy charges me $25 fucking. Okay, so I'm like, but I get the last laugh because I get to tell that story, right? I get to tell that story once a month to a new group of film students. So I tell that story and I embellish it now. I get so bad. I'm like, you know, I say cunt. I say the C word and they all go, oh, but the Japanese students look at each other like, huh? And then someone translates it for them and they're like, oh my God. So, yeah, what a cunt, you know, da 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 da. And then it happens. That's my grandmother.
No!
Yes. But he had a really good sense of humor. He's like, actually, she's really, really nice. And I said, yeah, you know, I'm only half joking. And I said, she's just in a really bad mood. And anyway, we laughed about it. And I come home that day, and you have one new message. Boop. Is this Bryan Norton? I'm looking for Bryan Norton. This is Tippi Hedren calling from Hollywood. And I'm like, oh my God. She says, my grandson told me that at one of these conventions I was very rude to you, and I am calling to apologize. I don't recall the incident, but if you're ever in Hollywood, I would love to take you out for lunch. And he tells me you're an amazing teacher. And all I am thinking about is that he told his grandmother that I told a class full of people that she was a fucking cunt who couldn't act.
Oh no.
It was like, yeah, and Marnie, her hair is red, but it's the same performance, and you know, just overboard. It was, yeah, isn't that wonderful?
Did
so
you
that's
ever take her up on it?
No, I'm afraid of her now. No, I would, but no, that was the nicest thing. I saved all the Betsy messages too, where she'd be like, and then what? Oh, fuck! And then she'd hang up the phone like she couldn't figure out how to work it, you know?
When I was at Phyllis Diller's house at a party, Tippi Hedren was there, and I hung out with her. We took a picture together. She was a sweetheart. She was not a C-U-N-T at all.
Maybe she was having a bad day.
Maybe it was you. What did you do to her, Bryan?
I was just in line. She never even looked back at me. She never even looked. Name. I was mortified. Karen Black took a picture with me. She smiled. She said I was handsome. She said, oh, you work out. You know, let me see your smile. Let me see without. From now on, I think you shouldn't show your teeth. I remember her saying. She wrote, there's nobody left to fly the plane. And, you know, she told me about Gloria fucking Swanson in the airport, 75. And Tippi, I get nothing. But at lunch, if I want. At her zoo resort.
How long ago was this?
This is 2 years ago.
I think the offer's still good.
I think so. I'm taking you with me.
All right, take me with. That way, you know, maybe she'll turn on me this time.
Okay.
Or then we'll see if it's actually you, if you're the equation that makes Tippi Hedren crazy.
And then if you tell her the story, she said, where did you hear that? You could say, a little birdie told me.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah, birds.
She'd probably hit me.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I structure my interviews. Anyway.
Good luck editing this.
That's what they all say, but we always do. All right, Bryan, thank you much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you too.
Shaking hands with him. My hands are still cold.
And they're kind of wet too.
Yeah, I just had them in my... Never mind.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
What was your first real experience? Because I think, because you're admittedly, you know, like...
Sexual experience?
Yes. Tell me about that. We are on the couch.
It was about 20 minutes ago.
I was talking about Jaws 2. I thought it was good for you.
Most of my posters are based not on the actual movie, but they're based on how awesome the poster is. But do you notice on Revenge of the Creature, whoever drew the crowd started to get really lazy? You recognize Betty Davis from All About Eve right here.
Oh,
right?
you do?
With one leg.
Yeah.
And
with one leg.
Yeah, with one leg.
Where's the other leg?
And there's also James Dean is in there. So he's on with the tie on the left of her. He's like the laziest person ever. Everyone is someone else.
We can reenact a scene from Chopping Mall. Better that we won't get.
It's a lot of sex in Chopping Mall, actually.
We can reenact the scene from Chopping Mall.